Be Hero presents Sheroes.
Good morning, Arcadia!
I'm your host, Amy,
And Alicia.
and we're asking the so-called heroes to step aside for a moment so that we can give the Sheroes their turn in the spotlight.
Yes, you heard right. Welcome to Sheroes, a podcast by Be Hero Media.
So just sit back because it's time for the real game changers to show you how it's done.
This week, we want to talk about Claire Nunez from Troll Hunters, since the new movie came out yesterday, although we're actually recording this on the day it came out.
Yes.
We haven't seen it yet.
But we will.
So we won't be talking about the movie, and
we wouldn't want to give you any spoilers anyways.
but if you haven't seen the show yet,
We are going to spoil stuff from the show. Just not the movie. Promise.
in the Troll Hunters series, she is initially introduced as a love interest for Jim, the Troll Hunter.
Like most characters today, she quickly moves into being an actual contributor to the troll hunting and troll rescuing.
After it is discovered that her baby brother has been kidnapped and replaced by a changeling, she immediately starts working with Jim to rescue him.
Her brother, the changeling, teaches her how to read troll, and a bit about troll culture, making her something of a valuable ally, and helping to bridge the gap between troll culture and human culture for Jim and Toby.
And the trolls.
She's also something of a riddle fan, which they have to use later in an attempt to save their lives in an episode against a volcano troll.
Later, I wasn't aware we had that on the agenda to talk about later.
Oh, I meant like later in the show. Yeah, I guess that was kind of weird. Moving on.
So the story takes place in Arcadia.
Do we actually know where Arcadia's supposed to be?
I think it's in California. Don't quote me on that.
Okay, I think you're right. I just I can't remember. I actually tried looking it up, but I didn't look very hard, so my bad.
So what are some heroic scenes, and why is she a shero?
Okay, we wanted to share a few different examples here. The first one I wanted to share was during the second half of season 1, where we're introduced to the troll Angerot. Now, he is the villain for the second half of the season, though initially you could say that he had been a hero. The whole reason how he ended up being a villain is because he was trying to save his village and he went to Morgana for help, which Morgana, she did give him magical power, making him just like really incredible. But what she didn't tell him was that it was in exchange for his soul. And then his soul was stored in a ring, and since then he is required to do whatever the bearer of the ring says, and he can't kill the bearer. This whole process basically ends up twisting him into an evil troll.
Yeah, I would say that Claire has two major combats with him. The first is when they are trying to get the stones of Gunmar. Gunmar, he's another troll. He's the major villain of all 3 seasons. But in the first 2, he's not focused on, but he's like the overarching, so in Marvel you have Thanos, he's the overarching villain, but in the end he's the major villain, right? So Gunmar is kind of the same. He's like, you have 2 or 3 or several villains before him who are major villains, but he's kind of the overarching villain of this series. Now these stones of Gunmar, they're stones that have some kind of significance to Gunmar or his life. Like, one of the stones is his eye.
Yeah,
Another
I think
one
of them might be his heart, possibly.
Might be. One of
or
them I think
his
is
birthstone or something.
Yeah, isn't one of them like a piece of it enemy that he vanquished or something, or maybe that's his eye. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah, so he's considered to be the most powerful and evil of all the trolls, and his goal is to bring about the eternal night. I don't remember exactly what that means, if they're gonna put out the sun or just cause, cloud cover for eternity. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's an eclipse, I'm pretty sure is what it is.
Oh, I think that's right.
Yeah, so anyways, as he's like the overarching villain, even so, Jim Lake, the troll hunter, and his friends, Claire and Toby, Blinkus and Arg, they are setting out to get those stones, right? And in one of those adventures, they all battle Angorot, who's there to hunt Jim. And he also knows what they're doing because he's been spying on them. So he's also going to steal the stone before Jim can get to it. So there's this scene where it's just Claire and Angorot, and he opens a portal or wormhole or whatever you want to call it. So Claire jumps in after him to get the stone, and they have this tussle in the wormhole, or, like I said, whatever you want to call it. And Claire manages to get the staff, but she fails to get the stone. Since then, she practices with the staff and begins to master its ability to teleport. As a side note, I do wonder if she ever expands beyond the teleporting.
She does. We're actually going to go over that later in the episode.
She does?
Yep.
Okay, well, I'm excited. I forgot about that.
So the other combat she has with Angor? Is it Angor or
yeah,
Anger?
It's Angor.
Okay, right. It's at the school. It's during the spring fling, and I don't think we really said this, but this is set up kind of during high school years, so they're teenagers.
Yes.
Nearing adulthood-ish. So if I remember correctly, at this point, Angor's soul was destroyed by Jim, and he is basically out for blood. They need to go to the school to get a spell because Jim's nemesis, Walter Strickler, who is a changeling dating Jim's mother, of all people, has bound his fate with Jim's mother to protect himself from Jim. Since Angor now wants to kill both Jim and Strickler, and because Strickler actually does have feelings for Jim's mom, they need to get back the spell book from Strickler's office in the school.
And after they found the spell book, she and Toby, they run to the roof so they can make a portal without being caught, because they've actually already been caught at least once in the school by teachers. So while she's making a portal, Angor comes and they spar and exchange words. And while he definitely could kill her, I would say that she technically won this round. Or maybe we should just say that she and Toby escaped with their lives.
That's one way of putting it. One thing that I think makes her heroic is either in the first or second episode, before she got mixed up in troll business, Steve Palchuk, he's something of a bully, jock, something. And so he had shoved another boy, Eli. Eli's kind of known as a school nerd. Mm-hmm. He also tends to believe in conspiracy theories, and he's been out looking for trolls and aliens and wizards. So yeah, Steve Palchuk had shoved Eli into a locker. Now, I can't remember if Jim says something that Steve chooses to misunderstand, or if Jim chose to stand up for Eli, but the next thing you know, Steve is getting ready to punch Jim. Claire actually tries to stop Steve. She was just an ordinary girl trying to help a classmate in need, and I think that that's admirable and it's praiseworthy.
Yeah, I would agree. Mostly we've been talking about major scenes, but I think, like we've talked about in other episodes, sometimes these are the most meaningful heroic moments, is because these are things that you and I can and should be doing.
Yeah.
After waiting for so long to save her baby brother, Jim rebuilds the Killahead Bridge and uses it to cross into the Darklands, without Claire or anyone else. Because this bridge has been opened, all the troll leaders throughout the world gather to determine if they should destroy the bridge and dispose of the pieces, and they all agree that it should be destroyed, and they're going to dispose of the pieces. Now, since they need this bridge open, not only to get Claire's baby brother, but also to get Jim back, Claire enlists the help of her changeling, not brother, to be an emotional anchor for her to find the pieces of the Killhead Bridge. Now, real quick, before I move on, I just want to note that, like, during this portion of the movie, they actually do get Claire's baby brother back, but Jim is still stuck on the other side after the bridge is destroyed.
So her changeling brother, and she actually does refer to him as her brother. So at this point, I'll probably be referring to him as such.
Yeah.
So he stows away with the pieces, and she teleports to him so they can send the pieces back to Arcadia. She and her changeling brother start teleporting the pieces back to Arcadia when they discover that the shipping container they were transported in is being dumped in the ocean. They then race to get the pieces out as quickly as possible so they don't die, and so Jim will be able to cross back over again. Using all her willpower, she is able to transport every piece and save herself and her brother, who they call Not Enrique, save them from the ocean.
Yes. And in what I believe is the last episode of season 2 of Troll Hunters, Gunmar ends up escaping the Badlands at the same time that Jim makes it back, and he started to rebuild his army in Arcadia. Jim and his friends, they work to help all the trolls escape before they're turned into Gunmar's army. And they have this fun mode of transportation. I can't remember what it's called, like a
gyro,
yeah.
Something. Gyro.
Yeah. Yep, that thing.
Something.
Anyways, they use that to help transport the trolls to the surface. But they're stopped when the exit is sealed. And with no other options left, Claire decides to create a portal big enough to transport all of them, which takes all of her willpower. And in fact, she can't do it alone. It's just so massive of a wormhole. So with the help of her friends, she creates this ginormous wormhole or portal to transport the rest of the trolls fleeing to escape Gunmar.
Season 3, we see another major milestone for her when, after being possessed by Morgana, the troll hunters perform an exorcism to get Claire back. It involves Toby and Jim going into Claire's mind, maybe?
Yeah. Or something. It kind of looks like what's the show? That other Netflix show that usually gets updated in July. It's got L.
Yeah.
Anyways, it looks like the backward or whatever it's now. I can't even think of what it's called either.
Is it called the Upside Down?
The Upside Down, yeah. Anyways, it looks like that a little bit. Kind of. Anyways, so they go basically into Claire's mind to find her and get her to come back. They're able to get her to see them, and they're able to also get her to choose to go back with them. But in the normal world, Morgana is battling with the trolls while she's chained up to keep possession of Claire, and she sends the staff into wherever they are. And Claire figures out how to call the staff back to her. Now, I don't want you to get the wrong idea here when I say this, but she basically battles Morgana, like, mentally, for her body back. But it's not like a visual battle or anything. But, yeah, you'd have to see it, and then you'd be like, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. But I don't want to mislead you. Anyways, but she does battle for her body back, and she somehow wins and makes it back into her body, and Morgana is gone now.
After her time being possessed by Morgana, she picked up a few new skills from Morgana for her staff.
Very cool. So let's share a few examples of what we like about her.
Yeah, so one episode that I really like is when she's planning to have a girls' night with her best friends. Her younger brother also decides to have party.
A big party.
He invites all the trolls from Troll Market to their home. Now, just as a reminder, this younger brother is the changeling, not Enrique. They call him Not Enrique.
And basically, he's a big party goer.
Yeah, so he's like probably hundreds of years old, and at some point he mentions that he was the life of the party before he something, what did they say?
Yeah, so what I'm not sure is if there were actually like parties in the Badlands or if he's talking about like, whoa, forever ago, 1,000
Like,
years ago.
yeah.
But anyways, yeah, at some point he was the life of the party.
So anyway, so her brother decides to throw a party, like I said, and invites all of Troll Market. Some of these trolls, in fact, most of them are bigger than humans, and since they spend the majority of their life living in a cave, they don't really know about human things, and at one point Claire has to stop a troll from eating a lamp.
Claire is understandably angry that she now can't have her girls' night, and she's desperately trying to protect the trolls from seeing her friends.
And her friends from seeing the trolls.
And so she sends them home. Well, actually, she doesn't send them home. Actually, it's not Enrique that sends them home.
She was trying to send them home.
Okay.
And failing
sure.
miserably.
Yeah. Anyways, so like we said, she's trying to prevent her friends from seeing what's going on, but they do see that she's having a different party that they weren't invited to.
And they were uninvited to their girls' night.
And yeah, they're pretty angry, and so they decide to break into her house by sneaking up to the upper window.
I wouldn't use the word sneaking.
Okay, well, they climb up to the upper window and join the party.
The chaos from her trying to stop a party, protect her home, protect the trolls, and prevent her friends from finding out about Troll Market is just really enjoyable to watch.
Like, in a painful kind of way.
Yeah. So her brother, not Enrique, finally decides to help his sister out and ends the troll party. She unintentionally manages to convince her friends that the party was with college students and that she has a college boyfriend that she's trying to keep a secret. Her house is a mess, but it's mostly salvageable. The trolls are not exposed, and her friends are successfully still in the dark about trolls.
For now.
Yeah.
I like that she opens her heart to her changeling brother, and they accept each other as siblings. After such a rocky start, we see a lot of relationship building between the two of them. Not Enrique ending his party to help out his sister, Claire taking the time to learn about changelings and trolls and learn their language and culture, not Enrique going into the large shipping container with the Killahead Bridge pieces so they can find the pieces again and save Jim. And it all works because of the emotional connection, which proves that she cares about him and kind of proves that in their own way they're siblings.
Yeah. So at this point, we have been largely talking about Troll Hunters, the first series, and we are going to continue to do so, although I do think we're getting close to wrapping up. Mm-hmm. But we wanted to let you know there's actually 3 series and a movie at this point as of, today and yesterday for those of you listening.
Yeah.
So the second series is called 3 Below, and she's actually more of a minor character in this show. We see her again in the third series, Wizards of Arcadia, and at this point she's back in the
as a
spotlight.
Major player.
She's a major character again. So there's this wizard Duxie who was an apprentice of Merlin like 1,000 or more years ago. And so he meets Claire and he helps train her a little bit. So they actually meet in the first series. He invites her to Battle of the Bands or something?
Yeah.
Such a high school thing.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you miss that? Not really.
Yeah, no. I'm good.
Anyway, so yeah, Duxie helps teach her how to use magic. And it turns out, like we mentioned before, that she can use magic to do more than just create portals with her shadow staff. In the first series, we see that even before she got the shadow staff, she actually has a sensitivity to magic. We see this when she's able to sense anger rot. Now I can't remember where it was, but it's in season 1. It's before she gets the shadow staff. She's also able to create objects, like she creates a shield for herself when she's fighting. And she's able to summon the objects that she creates. But also, I think she can summon other things too. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, I don't remember.
So we do see her summon the shadow staff, and she did not create that. We see that in season 1 in the episode referenced above.
Mm-hmm.
And now I know that I said she can do more than create portals. It turns out that she learns how to summon portals without the shadow staff. So I'm talking about portals again. Now this is impressive because Morgana, who, again, we mentioned her above, she possesses Claire. She can't even do that. And Morgana is generally known as a really powerful witch. So yeah, she can't summon these portals without the shadow staff, and Claire can. So that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Well, did we want to say anything else before we wrap up? It seems like there was something I wanted to say. Okay, well, it's a bit off topic, but yeah, like we didn't really talk that much about the Wizards series. It's a super fun series. Mainly, it's just the reason why we didn't talk about it is because, you know, even though we've watched all of the series before, we like to rewatch stuff before we talk about it, so it's like fresh on our minds. And that's just a lot of episodes.
Yeah, we didn't have time to binge watch them all.
We had a deadline.
Yeah, but just to give you a short summary, there is time travel involved, and Claire does become a handmaiden for
Morgana. Right?
Morgana. Yeah.
And she and Morgana actually end up building a relationship, if I recall.
Yeah, I think they might even be friends. I don't know how that plays into later on.
Yeah, but it's a great series. Even though we didn't have time to rewatch it, it's just awesome, and it has a lot of the stuff that like I really like about shows, like where there's resolution to things between characters. I feel like you get to see some of that resolution between Morgana and other characters, which I just love.
Yeah. So where in the media can you find her?
So as mentioned, there's 3 Netflix series or shows: Troll Hunters, 3 Below, and Wizards. Though, as mentioned, she doesn't have a big presence in 3 Below.
There's also a video game that came out last year called Troll Hunters, Defenders of Arcadia.
I think we gotta check that out. I want to see this game.
Yeah.
And then there's the original book series, Troll Hunters.
There's also a series of comic books. However, I'm just thinking about this now. I don't know if she's a main character in the book series. I think I read that there might have been a different character who kind of played her part.
Okay.
So we might have to check that out, and we'll give you a follow-up, maybe.
Yeah. Let's see. And of course, as we've been talking about, the movie that just came out. You should watch it.
We're going to watch it.
We're going to watch it. Let us know in the comments what you think. Please be spoiler-free as a courtesy to everyone else.
Yep. And thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed our show. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share.
We can be found on Facebook at Be Hero Media, Twitter at Be Hero Media, and Twitter at Be Hero Media. To women and girls the world over,
be brave.